Hey, good Saturday morning. It is 8:30, and I am meteorologist Alexis Clemens here on NBC Connecticut. We've got about 30 minutes in between our weather, our morning shows this morning, so I thought I'd jump on here and answer any questions that we might have regarding this interesting system that's coming up. So I'll go ahead and start by just showing you what's going on, and feel free to ask any questions that you might have. So we've got this huge system across the region here, really across the country. This stretches all the way over to Colorado and New Mexico. Look at all of that pink there, parts of Louisiana, Arkansas, Mississippi, Alabama, Texas. They're dealing with really icy conditions. This is a huge one. This is why this is one of the reasons why we're talking about this so much, is because of the snow and the ice that's stretching over 2,000 miles, impacting hundreds of millions of people here. Zooming into our region, we are not expecting snow here in Connecticut until tomorrow. Really, as you wake up tomorrow morning, likely not going to be anything on the ground unless you're waking up after about 8, 9 o'clock in the morning. Then we'll see this system kind of spread across the region here. I did want to talk about your feels like temperatures, though, because it is cold out there. I mean, the wind chill I've seen it down to negative 20 degrees in Torrington. We've had some reports from our weather observers this morning of just temperatures themselves at negative 6. It is very cold out there, and it's going to kind of stay this way through the day. Just showing you how warm it's going to get. I'm thinking about some people who might want to run some errands before this snow kicks in here. It is really going to be chilly out there as we go through the day. I think we'll be lucky to see that wind chill just a little above 0 later on today. So bundle up if you're heading out. That wind is brutal this morning, but it does get a little bit better. Not much, but a little better as we go later on in today and into tomorrow. Looking ahead, definitely going to be cold enough for this snow across the region here. So we're starting to see a couple of questions roll on in. Somebody says, what do you think the total will be for Seymour? Great question. We're going to be watching, of course, those snow totals here very, very closely. Really, at the end of the day, we're talking about a foot for just about all of the state. I think all of the state has a very good chance to see a foot of snow here as we go through the next several days. So let's go ahead and go down to my snow totals here. For Seymour, that's a little bit closer to the shoreline, but I still think it's all snow across the board as we go through Sunday into Monday here. But your snowfall totals, we're still expecting 10 to 18 inches. That's about a foot to a foot and a half, roughly, of snow across the state. You'll notice at the bottom of your screen there a little bit of purple. That would mean a lower total kind of near the shoreline of Rhode Island there. That is a possibility. We're kind of just watching for some sleet mixing in at the shoreline here. However, I don't really think that impacts our snow totals that much. It might just provide an icier consistency of the snow at the shoreline, but still expecting a foot to a foot and a half of snow across the region. Somebody says, let my dog out this morning. He ran right back inside because of the cold. Yep, it is chilly out there. Make sure you take care of the puppies too. I feel like a lot of dogs love snow, but these temperatures this morning are just way too cold to really be out there for much longer than you have to be. Somebody says, what time will it start snowing in New Haven tomorrow? In New Haven, I expect between the 8 and 9 o'clock hour. And let me go ahead and show you what's going on here as I step through our future radar here, because even though the snow is going to start fairly light once it gets going tomorrow morning, I wouldn't want to be on the roads once it starts, because with how cold these temperatures are, it's going to stick almost immediately. So we're expecting that between the 8 and 9 o'clock hour for New Haven, Hartford likely closer to the 9 o'clock hour there, and we'll see it across the entire state by 10, 11 o'clock in the morning. So it actually starts kind of in the New York City area and then spreads further to the northeast. Somebody says, planning to fly in Monday night from Europe to Newark. Do you think the airports will close? Well, I hope you have a safe flight. I hope everything's good to go. Hope you had a good time in Europe. I think by Monday night we're going to start to see some big improvements there. I can't predict airports closing just because I mean that's not my job. But I will say if we the most of the closures here should likely be later Sunday and into maybe early Monday. I think the biggest impacts will be felt Sunday afternoon and evening here in Connecticut. Flying to Newark by Monday night. The snow should be done by then. So that's good news. So hopefully everything's on time for your flight. How many inches in central Connecticut? Central Connecticut, I think at least a foot looks pretty likely across the region here. I do want to go ahead and step through this really quickly, though, because we've got some heavy snow on the way by the afternoon hours of Sunday. So again, this snow starts between roughly 8 to 10 a.m. and the worst impact's going to be felt during the afternoon and evening hours. Tomorrow, going to be great to maybe stay inside and watch that Patriots game. It's actually kind of a good thing that they're not playing at Foxborough. I know we all love a snow game, but it's cold, and I don't think really anybody is going to be able to travel very well at all in these conditions, to be quite honest with you. I really hate overhyping things. That's one of my pet peeves, but with the heavy snow, the cold temperatures, everything combined, I really just don't advise travel for tomorrow afternoon and evening. And like I said, I don't want to hype anything because I hate doing that, but I really will say you want to stay off the roads tomorrow afternoon and evening. What time in Windsor Locks? I think in Windsor Locks, we'll see that snow start by about 9-10 o'clock tomorrow morning. And I think it's going to progress through Sunday. So let's go ahead and take you through. Somebody's also asking, should we expect any small breaks in the snow? Tomorrow, not really. I think once it starts snowing, it's likely going to continue here. The core of this system is going to be the closest to us as we head through tomorrow afternoon and evening. So once that snow starts, it's likely going to continue. And that 10 to 18 inches I was telling you about, most of that is likely going to pile up through just Sunday. That just shows you again how dynamic this system is. You're waking up Monday morning, we might see a little break in the snow by then, and you're waking up Monday morning to over a foot of snow on the ground there. That's what we're expecting. So I also wanted to point out at the shoreline, there is going to be a chance for some sleet to mix in. Again, I don't think that impacts snowfall totals. You might just see a more of an icy consistency in some of the snow there. Again, not going to help with road conditions, of course, but I don't expect road conditions to be good anywhere across the state for Sunday. But a lot of people have asking, will that impact snow totals? I really don't think that much at all. I still think a foot of snow is likely at the shoreline. The 10 to 18 inches, maybe it's closer to the 10 to 12 mark at the shoreline. And then that chance for 18 inches definitely possible, especially over the higher elevations here for of Connecticut. So we start to see a little bit of a break in the snow. Let me back this up for you. A little bit of a break in the snow after about midnight or so. So the worst of this impact is felt noon to midnight. That is Sunday at noon to midnight, Sunday night, right? That's what we're tracking here. And then we'll start to see a couple breaks. There's a chance we might have some dry time into Monday morning, but I think the wraparound snow is going to be with us here. So we could see some improvements for Monday for the people that have to go to work. But honestly, the thing I'm worried about most is you're seeing here these temperatures are so cold all of Sunday. Rock salt doesn't work when temperatures are below about 15 degrees. And that is what we're expecting through all of Sunday. We do start to warm up a little bit as we go into Monday, but not a whole lot there. So it really just depends on how quickly crews are able to clear everything. Somebody's asking, my son is getting married today in Plymouth, New Hampshire. Congratulations. What would be a good time to be home in Connecticut by? We're staying the night here in New Hampshire. First of all, Jen, congratulations to you and your son, your family. That's fantastic. Enjoy the wedding today. It's going to be great. But I would definitely try to be home back here in Connecticut by about 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. So, I again, enjoy yourself. Absolutely. But just try to be back here by about 8-9 o'clock at the latest here. So I'm trying to make those plans to do so, just so you're not stuck in that snow. In New Hampshire, it's not going to start until much later in the day, but here in Connecticut, is going to start between about 8 and 10 o'clock in the morning tomorrow. Will it be safe to drive home from work at 3 p.m. on Sunday in Shelton? Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to be very good tomorrow afternoon. And let me show you this graphic that I showed this morning that I think tells the story very, very well here. Actually, I've got two graphics for you if I can find them. We've got so many in here. So first of all, I do expect the worst impacts to be tomorrow afternoon and evening. Like I said, from about noon Sunday to midnight or so Sunday night. So yeah, travel impacts. I just don't think it's going to look very good tomorrow afternoon. So, make plans now. The problem is that snow is going to be accumulating so quickly on the roads, and cold temperatures. That's going to be a fluffier snow. It's going to accumulate faster than you think it will. And I don't think roads are going to be in very good shape, especially with those cold temperatures. So yeah, I would definitely not. I really like, and again, I don't like to hype things up, but I really would not advise travel between about noon and midnight or so here in Connecticut. I think it is going to be rather tough, and I'll be leaving work tomorrow in the late morning hours, and I can let you all know how it is. And we'll be as safe as we can, of course, as possible. I know that some people have to be out and about. Just make sure, again, with these cold temperatures, to be as prepared as you can. Have a safety kit in your car. Make sure your batteries are good to go. Again, I really hate overhyping things. I don't like to scare people because I'm not. I'm just preparing you. But when we talk about the preparations, this is when it comes in handy. If you have to be out and about, just make sure you are prepared as best as possible. Here's a good question. Will it make much of a difference if I start doing some shoveling late afternoon Sunday to avoid large drifts to move Monday in Trumbull? Great question. I think that's a good question. I think the snow is going to be really, really just consistent as we go through your Sunday here. So I think even if you are shoveling Sunday afternoon, I think it's still going to be really, coming down pretty quickly. You could shovel one thing and then 30 minutes later, there's already an inch or so on the ground. That's kind of the issue that we're seeing is these snowfall rates are 1 to 2, even 3 inches per hour with just how heavy and fluffy this snow is going to be. So I would say if you want to do some shoveling, Monday morning might be best. And I think temperatures will actually be a little bit warmer then as well. They don't really drop too much Sunday night into Monday morning, excuse me. So that's the only thing is I could totally see, which is how heavy the snow is going to be tomorrow afternoon. I could totally see shoveling one area and then within 30 minutes, there's already an inch or two of it on the ground. So I don't think it makes much of a difference there. And actually, I think shoveling will be felt a little bit better on Monday anyways, because temperatures will be in the 20s. Yay, heat wave. And I'll show you the 10-day in just a minute, but we don't expect these temperatures to lift above freezing until February. We've got a week away. It's the 24th of January, so we don't have too long, but I don't think temperatures in the state really lift above freezing until next Sunday and Monday. A lot of people have been asking about the wind as well. This is not a nor'easter. A nor'easter is those really strong winds, like blizzard-like conditions. That's not happening this time around here, but just heavy rain. And we'll just continue to track those snow chances. For snow drifts with the fluffy snow, that's definitely a possibility. I don't think winds will be stronger than about 20 miles an hour or so as we go through Monday. So that's at least some good news, but still going to be really interesting there. Let me see. I've got about 10 more minutes on here before I have to get ready for our 9 a.m. show. So ask any more questions that you might have. I've also got this graphic here that I think does a really good job of telling the story when the heaviest of the snow is expected to fall, which is expected to be Sunday afternoon and evening. Like I said, though, if you can wrap things up and be at home by 8 a.m., I would definitely recommend that because you really don't want to be on the roads when this snow starts because, like I said, it is so cold right now that it will accumulate immediately. It'll stick immediately, and it'll definitely pick up as those snowfall rates pick up as well. Somebody says, Good morning. What do we think about my Monday morning commute? I have to be in at 7 a.m. in Wolcott. I will also be here with you, Nicole. And I'll show you this graphic here. In fact, I'm actually thinking that by Monday morning, things are going to be a little bit better. Maybe that's not the best news for people that don't want to go into work or school. But I also think that cleanup is going to be a big issue there. It depends on how quickly our crews can get to everything. But I will say snow is going to be a little bit calmer. It is going to be a little bit better by Monday. I think this is the graphic. Let me pull it up for you here. So your Monday morning commute, at about 8 a.m., it really does slow down there, but that light to moderate snow will kind of continue. It's not horrible. Well, let me rephrase that. It's not going to be the best, but it will be doable. So we are going to watch that. And it definitely gets better as we head towards the afternoon, evening commute as well. Lighter snow is the key, and that's kind of what we're expecting for Monday. So that's good news for Monday if you have to be out and about. Did snow accumulations drop down in Norwalk? No, we did not drop them. We're keeping it. I do think in Norwalk, it's probably closer to about 10 to 12 inches, so closer to the foot marking there. Have to be somewhere at 11 a.m. I'm assuming you mean 11 a.m. Sunday. I would take it really, really slow. I think that heavy snow is going to start up after about noon or so. Morning travel tomorrow won't be the best, but I mean, I think by the afternoon, it's going to be almost impassable in some areas there. Again, I'm not trying to scare anybody, not overhyping it. That's just genuinely what I think from the cold temperatures, the amount of moisture we have, everything that's going on there. So be really safe through the afternoon, especially, but all day long, of course. Should breakfast places be open on Sunday in the morning? Maybe if you go out for an early breakfast, but like I said, if you want to be super safe, I would be home by 8, 9 o'clock in the morning. Okay, we've got a question here. Is there a threat for thunder snow? I think it's very possible. I think we might hear maybe a couple rumbles of thunder that would indicate this really heavy snow at times. I want to say it's almost too cold for thunder snow just because these temperatures are so incredibly cold, but anything's possible, especially with the heavy stuff that we're going to be seeing here. Would you say the higher end totals are in the hills? Yes, I absolutely would. Honestly, I think a better, if I'm a betting person, I would say here in Hartford, we're probably here in Hartford, I'd say we'd probably be closer to about 15 to 16 inches. 18 inches, that is that higher end there, 1.5 feet. I think there's a better chance to see that in the hill towns, Northwest Hills, Northeast Hills, and then closer to the 10 to 14 inch mark, probably closer to the shoreline. So that's kind of what I'm thinking, but still expecting a lot of snow no matter where you are tomorrow. Ansonia, we can tell you about Ansonia. Somebody's also asking about church. Early in the morning is probably better. I used to go to mass at 7 o'clock in the morning, and I think that one will be busy tomorrow because I would say just make sure that again, to be super, super safe, I would be I'd be back at your house by 8, 9 o'clock in the morning. You might be able to do a little bit of travel once the light snow starts in the morning, but by 11 a.m. noon, I just think it's going to be extremely difficult to pass. Ansonia, I do expect is kind of the 10 to 14 inch mark there. Somebody said we'll be watching football. Absolutely. When will it begin in New London County? New London County, I expect it to be kind of around the 9, 10 o'clock hour there is when that starts. In Sherman, well, we can tell you that as well. Again, I do still think that the higher totals are for the better chance to hit 18 inches is going to be in the hill towns there. And I would say Sherman probably has a good chance of, I would honestly say 15 to 18 inches there in Sherman. The timing again is between 8 and 10 a.m. as this spreads across the region. 8 a.m. in Fairfield County, in the northeastern part of the state there, Windham County closer to 10 a.m. is that start time. Is it going to be the 2 to 3 inch per hour rate all day or just on and off? I think there's a good chance we see the 2 to 3 inch per hour rate for several hours tomorrow afternoon and evening. I would say almost consistent from about, I would say at least noon to 6 p.m. And if you do the math in your head, 2 times 6 hours, that's a foot right there. So that's why I say the 10 to 18 inch mark is most of it is going to accumulate tomorrow afternoon and evening here. When's the worst for driving? Definitely tomorrow afternoon and evening. Let me show you that again. I'm only going to be on here for a couple more minutes because we actually have a show on air at 9 a.m. if you want to join us for that. What time in Waterbury? I would expect by 9 a.m. Start time in Waterbury. Cromwell, Connecticut. I think it starts in Cromwell closer to about the 9 o'clock hour there, 9 to 10, I would say, to be safe. And this continues through Monday. So the worst of this system is tomorrow afternoon and evening, heavy snow through much of Sunday night, and then things get better by Monday morning. We still kept the red there, those high impacts for Monday, just because I'm worried that crews might not be able to, get as much done. And the rock salt does not work in these cold temperatures. And that's just really tough. That's why there's so many reasons why this system is as big as it's going to be. But I think the cold really, really does extenuate it. Time frame for Tolland, I think it starts closer to about 10 a.m. there in Tolland. Are we going to see power problems? Unfortunately, that's not out of the realm there, but wind is going to be calmer, so that's good news. But with the cold, of course, that can usually create some power issues as well, so I would watch for that. Is it supposed to be icy Monday afternoon? No, not really. We're kind of really just expecting some snow. You might see some sleet in the shoreline there Sunday night, but it's sleet. Those are ice pellets that'll kind of stick together. That could create kind of an icy consistency on top of the snow. But by Monday afternoon, I think that's out of here. The Weather Channel is showing parts of the state with 2 feet. I think 2 feet's a little overdoing it. I think if we have a chance for 2 feet, that'd be closer to like Boston and parts of Massachusetts. But I mean, we could be nearing that mark. I mean, what's 2 feet, 24 inches? We've got about 18 inches expected here. I could see a couple areas, especially those hill towns, producing upwards of maybe 20 inches. And again, that's just if we can get those right, ingredients at the right time there. I would say 2 feet is pushing it, but close to it, it's very possible. What are the totals for the Hartford Bloomfield area? That is, we're expecting, I think, honestly, in the Hartford Bloomfield area, but I would say between 14 to 17 inches. So kind of on the higher end of that. So, okay. So everybody stay safe. I have to put my IFB back in because we are going back on air at 9 a.m. We have our regular morning show from 9 to 10 o'clock in the morning. So if you want to join us on that, we definitely appreciate it. Again, just stay warm, stay safe. Really try to avoid, again, I don't like to overhype things, but I really would suggest not being on the roads tomorrow afternoon and evening, just with how quickly that snow is going to accumulate. I think it's just going to be really, really hard. Real quick, I'll do a couple more questions. Oxford and Shelton, we're thinking the timing here between about 8 to 9 a.m. tomorrow morning, and totals likely between, again, in Oxford and Shelton, probably closer to, for totals, I would say closer to about 10 to 14 inches. So again, it's still incredibly, significant, no matter where you are. It's a great day to maybe stay inside and watch the football game. Hey, at least they're not in Foxborough. I know we all love a snow game, but I think we'd have a lot of accidents in those areas there. So yeah, again, just try to stay off the roads if you can tomorrow afternoon and evening, especially. Torrington, I think Torrington, we start closer to about the 9 o'clock hour tomorrow. And then I do expect kind of higher end totals there in Torrington. I would say closer to about 15 to 18 inches in Torrington. A lot of snow. Stay safe, but also enjoy it. Okay, I've got to go here soon. But Bristol and North Haven, I think probably closer to about 10 to 14 inches. And then Bristol, I would say closer to 14 to 18. Same with Coventry there. I do have to go now because we have to go on air and I hear them in my ear. So we're going on air at 9 a.m. So we'll see you then. Just stay safe, stay warm. And if you can, once the snow is falling, once you can enjoy it after these bitterly cold temperatures today, we're not lifting above freezing again until next weekend. So there's plenty of time to enjoy it here. Oh my gosh, we have so many questions. Madison, Naugatuck, Waterbury, again in the 10 to 18 inch mark here. All of it starts between 8 and 10 tomorrow morning. It doesn't fully wrap up until Monday night, but we'll see things slowing down through Monday. Thank you all again for joining us this morning. I really wish I could stay on for longer and talk, but I have to go on air at 9 a.m. So I'm putting that IFB back in. We'll see you on TV. We'll keep you updated on air and online. Thanks again for joining us. We'll see you later. Stay safe.